Texas!
Also, here at OKN, we focus on a lot of international, like foreign affairs, and we've noticed that China and the CCP specifically has been trying to influence different foreign politics. What are your thoughts on the Chinese government's attempts?
I think they're our greatest, most serious adversaries, and really have been for decades, but we just haven't, the American people haven't realized it. Mm-hmm. Many of our politicians have not realized how serious of an enemy, an adversarial relationship that we have with the Chinese government, with the CCP. I have nothing against Chinese people. They're great folks. We've got a lot of them that live in my district. But the Chinese Communist Party, you couple them with the policies of communism, and with the high technological knowledge that they have, the Chinese people are probably the most surveilled, oppressed people in the world, on the face of the planet, probably in world history. They can't make a move without being seen by the CCP. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's so important for the Biden administration to realize that they are a huge adversary. They have stolen and taken more of our secrets, of our proprietary knowledge and information. I also serve as, I represent Johnson Space Center, and our space program has made us the #1 spacefaring nation in the world. The Chinese are they're hot on our heels. They've done some really, really neat things when it comes to, they're on the dark side of the moon. They've got a rover on Mars. They've got a space station up there right now. We cannot afford to let the Chinese, our Communist Party, usurp us and displace us as the world's leading nation, because we represent freedom and liberty. The Chinese don't. The Chinese communists represent oppression, repression, and atrocities, genocide, forced organ harvesting, you name it. Lots of very, very, not to mention the Wuhan Institute of Virology, from whence came, I think that evidence shows, it's very strong evidence that COVID-19 did not emanate from a wet market with a zoonotic transfer from a bat to a human. I think it was a gain of function experiment that went on at the Virological Institute of Wuhan, an experiment that went bad and was leaked probably to some of their own personnel and then out to the public from there.
I completely agree.
And I am one that really believes that we should have an investigation, a very, very thorough investigation, because I don't believe a thing that they're telling us about this. They misled us, we know that. I don't believe that the World Health Organization helped at all. In fact, I think they blew smoke on the whole thing, to obfuscate, and I think they're totally in the hip pocket of the Chinese Communist Party.
What policies would you like to see put in place to keep the Chinese accountable, specifically the CCP?
It has to be tough policies. It has to be sanctions. We have so much evidence. Even in Houston, Texas, I represent part of Houston. We had to close the Chinese consulate down there back during the Trump administration because it was a nest of espionage and spies.
Wow.
And we demanded that they close it down, which they did. And they said that they were totally innocent, they were doing nothing wrong, and yet we have photographs from elevated positions and other buildings around there that showed barrels, giant barrels with fires and smoke, and saw Chinese consulate
burning
documents right and left. Well, if they had nothing to hide, what were they burning documents for? You know? And so as far as the influence of the Chinese Communist Party, I think this is why I think we're sitting here today to talk about the influence, undue influence that they're having on our friends in South Korea.
Exactly. And South Korea is one of our greatest allies, I believe. It all started in the Korean War when we helped them fight communism. But many Americans aren't understanding that the current president, President Moon, he's very leftist, and he's been attempting to appease the North out of hopes to gain some more traction with them. But the efforts have not been worthwhile. So,
well, let me just tell you this. Appeasing communists never work. That tactic never works.
Exactly.
You cannot appease communists. You cannot appease these radical Marxists any more than you can appease these Antifa far leftists that are burning down our cities here in the United States of America. You can't appease them. They always smell weakness. The only thing they understand is strength. And sanctions and strong military preparedness and readiness is exactly what we need to have. And becoming second to the Chinese communists in the space race and militarily is a disaster in the making. And we need to make sure that our allies in South Korea are upheld. I'm very sad to hear about President Moon. I actually visited South Korea in Seoul, went to the DMZ about 3 years ago, and a wonderful trip, wonderful people in South Korea, and what a contrast between North and South there. And we're already seeing the Chinese putting pressure on Taiwan, our friends in Taiwan.
The country of Taiwan.
They are determined to gain hegemony in that entire part of the world, if not the entire world. And they are dropping money and building things and trying to work deals just about on every continent in this on the face of this planet. And I think the Biden administration should wake up. Unfortunately, we've seen a little bit of, as we say, maybe a little bit too much cooperation with the Biden family and the Chinese Communist Party, as well as Russia. And that alarms me very much so. And sadly, our Department of Justice and the media simply won't delve into that and take a look and see what went on there.
Mm-hmm. And South Korea has the same exact issue with President Moon, attempting to appease but not getting much benefit. I'd like to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and sharing your beliefs on the current issues in Asia.
Thank you. Great to be with you today.